Here we go, because that's what Jeff told me to say just now.
There we go.
We got
Good
it.
job.
All right. See, I did a good job with that. I struggle with openings, guys. I really do. I struggle with some openings every now and then. So we're back. We're doing this thing. Still, somehow, I don't know. They want us, and we're going to keep doing it for as long as they want us.
We can do this forever, and it doesn't fucking matter. No one can
if we got one fan, that's all we fucking need.
I'm a big fan. So
right, me too. So we got 2 by default, and maybe 3 if we count Natasha,
right,
who is standing behind the monitor right now, drinking some wine. But she's going to be on the show in 2 weeks, so you got to make sure you keep tuning in to see what she looks like right now. She got her hair did and everything. Yeah. So yeah. Oh my God, I hate that song, but I'm glad that you sung it though. All right, cool. So we're back here again. Lots of shit has happened since the last time we sat down and recorded some stuff, and a lot of stuff in our world and just in our country and just in general. We try not to get too much on the like partisan spectrum here. But anyway,
sometimes we try unsuccessfully.
So yeah, but you know what? You guys are still here, and after we had the cop episode, which was the one we were fucking terrified about, and then it turned out to be one of our good episodes. Okay-ish, yeah. So that was fun.
No hate mail.
No hate mail on that one yet.
That nature.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So
at some point, someone's going to discover that and lose their. That's the good thing about the internet is it's there forever.
Eventually, somebody's going to find it.
There's plenty of time for it to sit there and someone get their feelings hurt about it.
You're right, sis. You're right.
So I'm glad you fucking brought it up again.
I know, right? We got to keep it going. Yeah. I will bring this up because I've been drinking a little bit today. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now before I forget. Just early on in the episode, if you want to go check out some behind the scenes stuff that we can't put on YouTube, go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ on the subject. That's what it is. Patreon.com.
The link will be
/ on the subject. You're going to see it right here, and it's going to be so much more sober than me. It's going to be great. It's going to be real. It's going to be real good. So go check out that link right now. In the meantime, I want to draw your attention back to a post that you put on the internet a long time ago. Well, I mean, it seems long to me,
right?
But it might not seem long to you. And I think it was one of the early things that you had go viral. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you know you better than I know you.
I do. I'm my biggest fan. So
do you remember when, and I can't remember exactly what the title was and all that stuff, but you were talking about like your daughter and like how you would tell her to do this, but not tell her to do this because she can make her own choices. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that was actually, and that one's not nearly as controversial.
No, not controversial.
Are you talking about the one though that was
rules for dating my daughter? That's what it was called. Yeah.
Yes.
So do you remember that post?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
And because that spawned a lot of like people wanting things.
A lot of conversation
around
a lot
it.
of big opportunities for me. So
yeah, what would you say if you had to look back on that post? And I'm getting somewhere with this, but if you had to look back on that post, what would you say is sort of the big takeaway that people got from that post?
For the most part, most of the feedback on that was overwhelmingly positive. This is funny you mentioned this particular post today, though.
Yeah.
Because, and I'll send you a photo you can post, because I've wanted to post about this on my Instagram. I had some other things happen since then. My oldest daughter, like I posted this, and this was at the time kind of a hypothetical. I have daughters across several age ranges. None of them at the time were actually dating. This was just a response to certain things I'd seen on the internet and conversations I'd heard other people have about their daughters dating and stuff.
Right.
Recently, I had an actual test of meeting my oldest daughter's current boyfriend.
Ooh,
so it was kind of a test for me, because this has been a while ago.
Yeah.
To make sure, I wasn't full of shit. That I really was just going to be cool with this. And it was a lot of fun. The most dad thing I've ever done in my fucking life is made them take a selfie with me. It was like, I really, for any of you who know what post we're talking about, I really did handle that the way I pretended like I would. It's easy to act
just like you pretended on the internet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to act like you know what you'll do when your daughters are dating someone when they're not actually fucking dating anyone.
Right.
This young man, it was a fun day. He wanted to come over and work out with me.
Really?
So he and I and the oldest daughter worked out, and then that kind of got awkward for a little bit. We were just
That's an interesting first date.
Right?
I want to come work out with your dad.
Well, then I was like, okay, let's go to McDonald's and eat.
Yeah.
So and we talked and stuff, and this is when we went and got to get in the car. I was like, I'll take y'all to get something to eat if you'll drive, Jade. Jade's my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
So I went and got in the back seat of the car, and this kid's real respectful. But he was like, I'll sit in the back, sir. But I was like, dude, I'm
called you
here.
sir?
Yeah, he called me sir a lot. That's always, I mean, I understand it's respectful, but.
Did you tell him you only like that in role-playing games?
No, but I mean, honestly, like I get called sir when I'm getting arrested. It's a lot of put your hands behind your back, sir. Stop struggling, sir. Stop kicking the windows, sir.
So you definitely don't need it from him.
It's not a thing I have. But no, real respectful kid. And when we're driving to the restaurant, I was like, so what do y'all want to talk about? Do you want to talk about politics or religion? Which got a real snarky comment from my daughter. So we wound up talking about politics, and he's a libertarian. So I told him, I was like, well, it could be fucking worse around here.
It could be worse. You're right.
We had a good talk. I made it clear to him. I was like, and this was the spirit of the my approval doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Like I've raised my daughter in a way that she knows what she's looking for.
Yeah.
She knows what, so I made it clear to him, you're not here to try to impress me. We can talk about stuff. I want to know who you are. I want to get to know you. Yeah. My opinion of you doesn't matter.
Right.
In that context. And people, I think that was the part people misunderstood, and maybe the part I regret about that initial post. People got not that I said it that way, but I didn't make it clear enough. People got the impression that maybe I didn't have your standard protective fatherly instinct.
Yeah.
I do. Like if you harm one of my daughters, I will fucking kill you, and I'll brag about it. I won't even try to get away with it. Like that will be a thing if you harm one of my daughters. Yeah. This preemptive fucking creepy ass cleaning your gun on a porch.
That's exactly the image. That's the image that so many people give off in that story. Is like, oh, my dad is sitting there on the porch with his shotgun ready for you.
That's the ickiest thing in the world to me.
It gives me the creepy crawls.
And I was talking to somebody at work the other day about it. To me, that feels like, and there's a line somewhere. To me, when I hear some guys talk about that, it feels like they're protecting a piece of ass that belongs to them. Yeah. It's really fucking icky, and I don't know if they see it that way. Right. I do.
It's just really awkward.
Your daughters are going... I got to tell y'all, your daughters are going to grow up and fuck. That's what they're going to do. It's what people do. Yeah.
Listen, I work at a high school.
You have to be okay with
anybody that thinks teenagers don't engage in that behavior, they're lying to themselves.
Right. And my girl, like if you met my oldest daughter, like she doesn't do that. I can't get her to participate in any deviant behavior. She won't even cuss. You know, so, but me and her have open, honest conversations about these things. I know what she's doing and not doing because I know we can talk about it. Right. And so, but with the post, like I said, if you hurt my daughter, I'm going to hurt you badly. But that preemptive kind of, I'm her dad, don't hurt her. And a lot of times when people are talking about that, they're talking about, and this is a point I've really never gotten to make about being protective of your daughters. Right. I don't want to protect my daughters from a broken heart. Right.
I think it's the worst thing you can protect them from.
It's going to fucking happen for one thing. And any human I know that's worth a fuck
has been
as a human has had their heart broken and figured out how to deal with it. If you protect a person from ever having their heart broken, I feel like they're never going to learn a single fucking lesson in life. Right. It's those moments where, and it's really specific to heartbreak, that romantic kind of thing that fucking destroys you. Those moments where you're by yourself crying your fucking heart out, that's where you learn who you are.
I think if you want
to protect, whether sons or daughters, if you're trying to protect your kids from that, you're trying to insulate them in such a way that's going to keep them from learning. First of all, you can't do it. If you really fucking think you can protect your kids from having their heart broken, you're a fucking idiot.
Right. I think the best thing you can do, and this is coming from somebody who isn't a parent, so you can back me up on this or tell me, or correct me if I'm wrong, is that be there to emotionally support them if they need you as a parent, but don't try to fix those problems for them, because the learning how to fix it now is what will help equip them in the future to be able to say, this is not the right kind of relationship for me. This is not what I need to be going all in for, because I learned that when I was younger and I had to fix it myself and learn for myself. Right. Exactly. Like that's, like you don't want to coddle them in a way that teaches them, well, I'll just get my dad to take care of my problems for me from now on forever. Right.
Exactly. So. And that's, and they're like, regardless of how I'm raising them or not raising them, my girls are pretty independent anyway. I encourage that. Yeah. But yeah, the interaction with this kid was, I'm a chronic interrupter when I'm having conversation. And I'll, like I definitely was embarrassing.
Story checks out.
Like I wasn't the badass dad. I wasn't like, well, let me tell you something, son. But I was definitely embarrassing. I feel like that's my right and my job as a father there. That's a different thing than the really douchebaggy protective
that's a comedy element.
And she told me the other day that afterward he told her, he was like, I'm glad your dad kept interrupting me, or he probably wouldn't have liked me. So
I feel like that's accurate.
But I like the kid. He's a good kid. Yeah. He's definitely smart. Like I know I don't, on various political things, I'm not in agreement with him, but he's young. Maybe he'll learn something along the way. And also,
we were all libertarians once. We all had that phase.
I had this really embarrassing 8 months.
Same.
I've done things for money that are less embarrassing than the time I spent riding the fence as a libertarian. But, wow, now that's where we just crossed the line. We hurt a lot of people's feelings there.
We did. Okay. Sorry.
But they were libertarians, so who cares? I mean,
no, not really.
The market just fucking decided. Yeah.
That's a whole other spiel. We'll have to do a special episode.
We're going to have to circle back around to
we'll have to circle down to all the reasons. Whatever. Yeah. But no, listen, I really wanted
and to get back to specifically what we're talking about, I never was raising my kids to grow up and think exactly like I do. My daughters are very different than me, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. So if I'm okay with them being different than me, then they don't need to show up with a boyfriend who's just like me. And that's why I told the kid, I was like, look, I disagree with you. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You're not here to earn my approval. I don't get a vote here. Right. I don't get a vote in whether it's somebody my daughter's dating, who they marry. I don't get a fucking vote in that. I mean, to the extent that she values my opinion. If I really didn't like the kid, I would tell her or whatever. I still don't have the right to run him off. Like
I feel like there's a threshold for, like, if the kid is doing this specific thing or this group of activities, then I'm going to step in and intervene because there's danger or illegality or some kind of something. But within reason, like, if it's just that you just don't agree with this one thing or this, I feel like there are a lot of people who try to step in and overlord that.
Worst thing you can do, like if I've, I don't know where my threshold would be there if I really feared for her safety. Mm-hmm. But even at that, the worst thing you can do with a teenager is try to rip them apart from someone they think they love. Mm. That is going to backfire on you every time.
100%.
That's not going to work. There's a lot of things I'm not an expert on, but I know what not to do.
I got to give props to people who in your, like you especially, and just people in general who are raising kids in the time that we're in right now. I can't imagine, especially girls, I can't imagine what it's like to try and raise a girl child of yours in the climate that we live in right now. And this is not a political statement, just in general. It just feels like there's so many predatory practices, and I feel like these have always gone on, but we're just now sort of seeing them come to light, and it makes my skin crawl sometimes, some of the stuff that comes up, and it's just sort of this accepted belief that we're supposed to believe about females in our society, and I just can't imagine trying to raise a child in that.
It is definitely terrifying at times. I'm not sure. You know, and I only have the perspective of raising daughters.
Right.
I'm not sure how different my views would be raising sons. I would be harder on them. I have, in terms of, you know, if you're a man and I have to be around you, I have a very fucking high standard of what I will respect in a man.
Right.
If I was trying to raise a young man into a man, I don't even know that I would get it right, because with my daughters I'm able to be like, you be who you are gonna be. I don't like burden them with these expectations. If I was raising a son, he would be a fucking man, or I would kick his ass. Like,
and when you say this actually transitions perfectly into what I wanted to talk about in this episode. It's perfect. When you say your son would be a man, I want to be clear about what you mean by that, because I think society has given us, and it goes back to that whole dad on the porch with a shotgun thing. Society has given us a prescription for what a man looks like. And I feel that we have started to challenge what that looks like. So to you, I want to specifically reference something that was in the news a lot recently, and hopefully this will spawn a discussion. We were talking about facial hair a second ago, and it just sort of kicked in. The Gillette ad that came out a few weeks ago that just people went into a fucking uproar about it, because for some reason a company coming out and saying men can do better became a political issue, which to me should not be an issue. You know what I mean? No. It's simply a company coming out, a company that is ostensibly mostly gearing their products toward males, saying, hey guys, we can do better than what we've done in society, which I don't see any fucking problem with.
No, even me, see, that's where, like, even me as a man who knows I'm pretty fucking good at being a man, I still have a lot of toxic traits that I'm aware of, and I try to work on. So even someone like me who's like, who is working on me, I see something like that and it's not offensive to me. Like, the only possible way that would be offensive to you is if you know you're a piece of shit and you want to remain a piece of shit without anyone telling you that you're a piece of shit. Right. Like, God,
I felt like
that's what I'm talking about.
That controversy really showed people's asses. It really showed. Fucking if hell. You came out and said anything, oh, this is dumb and this is, you know, whatever, this is us going soft and whatever. I feel like that really showed more about the people who complained about it than Gillette. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You know what, motherfucker? I ain't soft. Right. And I didn't get my feelings hurt by a razor ad. A lot of the people that, a lot of the dudes that pound their chests the hardest about men being men, motherfucker, you ain't a man. Or you wouldn't have to scream so loudly about
it.
To that. There, you know, and I wrote something, it was kind of a longer piece. I'm not going to be able to quote all of it. I wrote some of it that was in the wake of that ad. I unfriended and unfollowed some people on Facebook. It's just like, really, you're going to show your ass over this razor ad? Right. And then I wrote something and just posted it because I try to stay away from certain topics on my public writing pages these days. But so I wrote it and just posted it as a regular Facebook status. And I wound up sharing it the next day on my writer's pages, and it actually got a lot of traffic. But it's kind of between a lot of the things that are going on right now. You got the Me Too movement and Gillette fucking attacking us. I mean, they were coming at our fucking man parts with razors. This is the kind of world we're living in now. And you see a lot of comments about how hard it is to be a man these days. Motherfucker, listen, and this is what I wrote about. Like I said, I won't be able to remember.
I think I know the piece you're going to reference.
It is not harder to be a man these days. It is easier, because you talked about the kind of the old kind of the one size fits all. This is what a man is. That's been around forever. That's dead now. The only people living in that are people that don't want to advance. You can be whatever kind of man you want. You can be you. You can be me. You don't. You can just be a man. You know. And when I say, and this is to me, like you said, when you say being a man, what does that mean to you? First of all, I like to talk about it specifically just from the standpoint of masculinity.
Right.
It gets tricky because anything I say about being a good man is going to apply to women.
Yeah.
You know, be a good human is what I mean.
Right.
I do still think it's good to have the discussion just in terms of masculinity, in terms of being a fucking man.
Absolutely.
But to me, the primary ingredient, whether you're talking about being a good human or what we're talking about being a good man, is fucking empathy.
Right.
You're not the only motherfucker on the planet. You know, everything doesn't have to be about you.
Right.
You know, that to me, that's being, if you got your feelings hurt by that razor ad, it's because you don't have any empathy. And if your first reaction to anything about toxic masculinity is not all men, nobody fucking said that, and you saying that means you can only
you're part of that problem.
You can only see through your own lens,
right?
And I don't respect that. I do not. I won't pretend to respect that. I won't try to see your side because fuck you. I'm a man.
Yeah,
I'm a man.
You're specifically in the position. That's being targeted to talk about it.
Basic ass white dude with a beard.
Yeah,
you're not going to come cry to me about how hard it is to be a basic ass white dude with a beard because it's not.
It is.
I'm playing that fucking role and it's not.
Right.
I get a little passionate about this. Some of y'all motherfuckers are.
Man. And just like,
it doesn't impress me when they jump straight to, you know, no, it's not. It's not hard to be a man anymore. Try to see it from somebody else's point of view. That's the only thing that's a little difficult. Is up until recently, the expectation was that everyone was to view the entire world through the eyes of a white male.
Right.
Now, nobody wants to play that game anymore, so I can see how it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Get the fuck over it. There are other people in the world.
We've coddled the white male
totally
experience.
Unscripted. I'm like fucking spitting, ranting right now, and I don't know if you can hear the disdain in my voice.
No, I got it. I think this is the hardest I've ever seen you go at a topic since we started this show.
Yeah,
and I'll
bad.
say this. It's good. I love it. I will say I feel like we have coddled particularly the white heteronormative male experience to the point where people think that and I say people because there are even women I have seen an unusual number of women who are getting in the comment threads on these ads and people that are coming out and defending the other side and saying, well, I want a man who is all of these things we've come to expect. And it's just because I feel like that's
great, honey.
Yeah.
I mean, and see, I lost where the fuck I was.
I got it. I think this is a good place to kind of rest. I think this could go into like a part 2 because there's more that I want to talk about at some point, maybe next week, maybe another day, about what masculinity looks like, because I feel like that's a conversation that just we all need to be having right now. It has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with religious beliefs. It is just about how do we do what that ad is asking of us, which I think is a perfectly logical question. How do we do better and make a better society as men?
This is something, and we'll get into this more, but in particular, I'm really passionate about this issue, and I would like to specifically spend some time talking about this subject. We do live in a climate. It's hard to. It is really, I'll say this much, it's a tightrope. Like the piece I talked about that I wrote recently, where I was talking about kind of toxic males, and then towards the end there I got kind of angry and said some fuck yous and called them douchebags.
As you do.
And that's kind of what I do. But I got
your
some
brand.
people
You're on
in
brand.
the comments saying things like, well, I really liked it up until the last part. And I was like, that last part was the main part.
That's the most important part you're supposed to get.
And then you get in conversation, you know. And this is something we've planned on having special episodes about PC culture and whatnot, which I'm not against. God damn it. You have to be careful. So I use the term douchebag. Well, that turned into just a couple people, not like a mob or nothing coming after me. So, well, a douchebag is a feminine hygiene product, and so you're making it, you're comparing it.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying.
Right.
First of all, I thought about all those things when I typed out that word, and I was like, no, this is the word.
Right.
Because words mean things, and when I say douchebag to you, it created the exact picture in your mind of who the fuck I was talking about. And I asked in the comment section there, I was like, okay, I tried to keep it cool. It irritated me, you know, but I was like, you know, I like to know my role and be willing to, when someone points out something to me, be like, okay, I can back down. I've trimmed a lot of words out of my fucking language in the past few years without crying about it, you know. But I was like, okay, if there's another word that specifically creates the same picture as when I say douchebag, I'll start using that. And nobody was, cause I think somebody said, well, asshole. No, I'm a fucking asshole. I'm not a douchebag.
You're a classy asshole.
Know,
you're a classhole.
You're a classhole.
You're a classhole.
You know, so when you get into talking about masculinity and doing it in certain ways, it's a hard conversation to have, you know.
It is. I agree with you there. Well, we are at the end of our time on this episode. Definitely a topic I want to continue at some point down the road. And that sort of leads me to you guys. If this is something that you want to talk more about in the future or see us talk about, we would definitely love to have your questions on this or your comments, your thoughts, like perpetuate this discussion, because I feel like we're not alone in our thinking on this, but I definitely want to have people. And if you don't agree with us, that's just as well. Like, please come and talk to us about it. Let us know. Let's have more of a discussion on this. And you can do that by calling in at our hotline. The number is 209-353-4257. That's 209-35 Dicks. Yeah, so call us on that number and check it out. Also, don't forget to go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/onthe-subject. More on this to come. Great discussion, I think, that we had today on this. And so
that was a good one.
Yeah, good one. Yeah,
I got fired up.
Got all fired up. Yeah, you gotta love it. All right, guys, we're gonna leave you there. Thank you very much. Hope you come back next week. Don't forget, 2 weeks from today, Natasha Welch, awesome wife of Jeff Welch, is going to be on the show with us, and I have a feeling it's going to be really awesome. I don't know. I just like see the future.
Right. It is.
It's like it's almost like I just know. It's almost like we've already done it.
I feel like we're fucking with the space-time continuum.
We are. You're right. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.